How's it going, guys? Pokemon Masterclass here. We got Gym Leader Justin. Say hi.
What's up, everybody?
And then we got me, Zero. We got kind of a fun video today. This is a conversation that Justin and I have had a lot, and it's we're going to be talking. This is kind of going to be like regurgitating the same stuff for us, but we're going to talk about the Pokemon that we want back in Gen 8. Obviously, not every Pokemon is in the Pokedex in this game, so we've been missing some staples, especially Justin.
Yeah, it's been a big topic of conversation in the Pokemon community ever since Sword and Shield got announced and subsequently released, and then with the DLC, the absence of quite a few Pokemon from the national decks in the game right now. There's a lot of pokes that are in the game, but going through the list, there's actually quite a few staples for both of us actually throughout our competitive careers that are still missing. So we've talked about this a lot with our gaming group over the past year and a half since Sword and Shield dropped. Ooh, I would love it if so-and-so came back. So that's what we wanted to do today, is we wanted to talk about that.
Listing.
Absolutely. That's what this is all about. Really fun video of like, ooh, yeah, if my favorite came back, what would I do? Exactly. This is a really good idea.
So the main questions we're going to ask, we're going to do 3 Pokemon each. The main questions we're going to ask are, why do we want this Pokemon back? What tier do we think the Pokemon would be in current Gen 8 meta? What set we would run in the tier? And what move we want to see them get when they come up to Gen 8?
Yep, a new move. So it could be anything. Could be a move tutor move, could be a new breeding thing, could be anything. Just, rub that magic lamp and ask the genie for a wish.
Yep, here we go.
It doesn't have to necessarily... It's not about necessarily being spot on accurate with what they will get. It's more of just a wish list.
Yeah, we're going to rub the magic genie lamp. Landorus is going to come out. He's going to give us our wish.
Exactly. There it is.
All right, cool. So, all right, Justin, I'm going to start with you, all right?
Oh, yeah, we're starting right from the top. Let's do this.
All right, Justin, so we're going to start with you. What Pokemon do you want back the most in Gen 8?
Well, it's kind of hard for me. There's a few that are really tugging on my heartstrings, but one above all else, I have to go with this boy, and that's Infernape.
Infernape.
Near and dear to my heart.
I've lost to this Infernape so many times.
Yeah, he's insanely strong. Very, very, very. I love his aesthetic. I love his typing. I love his move pool. I love his stats. I love his ability. There's really nothing wrong with this monkey at all. I don't know, Boomer's grass type, which is pretty awesome. I'm the grass leader after all, but Infernape.
Yeah, you've been daydreaming about making a team of all monkeys, and you just it's not worth it until Infernape's in the game,
I need Infernape and Ambipom to make that team whole.
Yep.
But so Infernape, we're going to be talking about him today.
What tier do you think he would land in current Gen 8?
My prediction would, if he came in right now with no other additions to the game, it was just him dropped in, I would say OU.
Okay, all right.
I think he's really, really strong. I could maybe see him in UU, but yeah, OU is going to be my prediction for sure. I think he is absolutely good enough. I think he's versatile enough. I think he definitely has a very deep move pool.
He's always been in 4th gen, he was the quintessential lead Pokemon. Because he has Stealth Rock, didn't he?
He can Stealth Rock, he can taunt, he can fake out, he gets stab mock punch, he gets stab close combat, he can U-turn. He
can vacuum wave too, right? He's just as good on the special side.
Yeah, exactly. He's got 104 for both offenses, physically and special. So you can definitely run a specially offensive or even a mixed set. He's one of the most versatile pokes that I've ever used.
Yeah. So that kind of brings us to the next thing. What kind of set would you run?
Ooh, so yeah, my favorite that I've ever ran is, now the item, you could either run Choice Band or Expert Belt. Mm-hmm. It just depends on whether or not you want to lock yourself in. But boy, a Choice Banded, that does a lot of damage. But we're going to go with Expert Belt today just for, again, we want to keep up with that versatility. Jolly, max speed, max physical attack, and we're going to be running Iron Fist. And all of the moves we're running today is going to be utilizing that Iron Fist. We're going to be running 4 punching moves. We're going to be going with Close Combat, Stab Fighting, 120 base, Iron Fist boosted. You're just going to plow through things. Mock Punch comes in really, really, really strong Mock Punch. It's actually quite impressive how strong that is with the Stab and Iron Fist boosted.
Yep, I've had a lot of Pokemon picked off over the years by that stupid little Iron Fisted boosted Mock Punch.
Absolutely. People don't expect it. I mean, Life Orb's obviously really good on this monkey too. That's a great item.
Yeah.
He's just pretty frail, so it's one of those trade-offs.
Yep.
And then another Stab. We could do Flare Blitz, but again, we want the Iron Fist boost. We're going to go Fire Punch.
Yep.
And Fire Punch with Iron Fist boost is actually stronger than Flare Blitz, and you don't take the recoil. So it's actually the better option for this set when you run the calcs.
Makes tons of sense.
And then to round it off, he gets things like EQ. We talked about U-turn already, taunt, stuff like that. But I'm actually going to round it off with Thunder Punch. So that's going to be my last Iron Fist. They're all, like I said, all Iron Fist boosted, but that's my last punching move. And that's going to obviously take care of flying types, which he's weak to, and water types. So it's just really good coverage. You're going to smash through
any version of Pelipper. Rain team.
Yep, Pelipper dies in one shot. You can 2-shot a physically defensive Toxapex, which is very strong.
That's super nice.
Very good.
Good against Mandibuzz.
Really strong against Mandibuzz. You have to play around with the Roost, but again, I honestly do feel like if you get the high roll, maybe Choice Bandit would be the better option here against Mandibuzz, but Expert Belt, Life Orb are still options there. You can take care of Mandibuzz. If people are using Gyarados, since they bring him up, that's definitely an option there. I really think this is a good poke. You can use either your Fire Punch or Close Combat to break through walls like Melmetal. You could break through if they bring it up, like Registeel, Bronzong. You could just smash with a Fire Punch through any Ferrothorn in the meta.
Yeah.
It just gives you a lot of options.
No, yeah, I really like this set, man. I think you did a good job with this one. So, last thing when I ask about Infernape, what move would you like to see it get in 8th gen when it comes up?
Ooh, well, this one is actually going to be, it's not going to be for the set we just talked about. This is going to be for a special offensive one. I want, because now it's a TM/TR. I always forget the difference. It doesn't
whatever.
Nasty Plot.
Yep. Yeah.
I want him to be able to have Nasty Plot this gen, so that way you can run Nasty Plot 3 attacks.
Yeah.
He's had Nasty Plot in the past, so I would love it now that it's a TM or TR to be able to just smack that on him, regardless. You don't have to worry about breeding or move tutors or anything like that, and just boom.
Was it
plug and play? And you need to
before?
run either Flamethrower. I think it was a move tutor in Gen 6 or 7, but it's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it's given Alakazam. It was a good move for Alakazam to get for sure. So yeah, I could see it being good on Infernape.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, you could run either Flamethrower, Fire Blast, VGC. You can run Heat Wave, I believe. He gets that.
Yeah.
Like you said, Vacuum Wave is a great option. Another, you can run a special stab priority move.
Yep.
So yeah, Nasty Plot would be the one thing that I would hope. Other than that, I guess the other the low-hanging fruit would be from the Isle of Armor tutor would be either coaching would be kind of cool for doubles, but I think maybe he'd be a better recipient of coaching than a user.
Yeah.
So maybe Burning Jealousy would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Those are where my mind was at, just for honorable mentions.
Really good in the Dynamax meta against like Airstreams and stuff like that. Cool, man. Good choice.
So what about your first poke? What's at the tippy top of your list for today?
Okay. My first poke? You're going to love this.
Who's pulling on your heartstrings?
I really want Gliscor back.
Oh, no, I'm triggered.
The reason I want Gliscor
He's
back.
So good.
He carried me to so many wins in 4th gen OU because of Toxic Heal when he couldn't be broken down by Toxic and you could just SD in people's faces because of his really high special attack. Physical defense, I'm sorry. Because like
4th and 5th gen respectively.
Yeah, dude, I literally just like got carried by this guy. It was so awesome. But yeah, he's gone now. It's really sad. As far as what tier I think he would land in, I do think he would land in UU. I think
UU? Okay.
I think
Why?
what? I think OU. There's just too many. There's too many really powerful threats in there right now. Like, Buzzwole can get Ice Punch. I think, you gotta watch out for Dragapult because it's, those are usually running Draco Meteor. There's just Heatran,
And he is pretty weak on the special side.
Yeah, he's really weak on the special side.
Comparative to his physical side, I should say. 75 isn't terrible spec. We've definitely seen worse. Looking at you, Fairmosa.
Yeah, and we got things like Latios, which is really hard for him right now. Magirna's here
Latios
for now.
and Latias are up there, and they both get Ice Beam.
Yep, and then the bros, like Slowbro, and like Slowbro and Slow King you got Earthquake for, but Slowbro, really hard time up against that. Like Swampert, Finny, Lele,
and they're going to be packing a lot of ice moves, and he's obviously ground flying. So
yeah, so I think
I was going to ask you real quick, not to interrupt you, but without the obviously now in Gen 8 we don't have hidden power anymore, so there's no hidden power ice, which was a big thing back in the day that I used to run against your Gliscor. What do you think about that? Now that that's gone, that might be a potential.
That does help him. I think it does help him because it's kind of like a catch-22, it's not a catch-22. It's a catch-all. Like hidden power is a catch-all. It's, you could slap it on anything that doesn't get it for any reason, and it's just like, surprise, hidden power ice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you just be like, oh, why did this?
It definitely hurts certain pokes, but overall, I honestly think it was maybe a beneficial change for the meta.
Yeah, you could like look at something like Blissey, and you're like, oh, Blissey, what's a Blissey gonna do to me? And then there's like hidden power ice, and you're dead. Like, why? Why am I dead from that? Why did I lose to Blissey? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep.
So,
100%.
I think UU would be a little bit better. I think it's a little more balanced. Like, there's obviously big threats like Kyurem and Mamoswine.
Mamo was the big one I was going to mention.
Yep.
Kyurem's got the
Rotoms.
The special attack obviously can really hurt with the either freeze drives or whatever he's throwing out. I agree with those two a lot.
Yeah, but he beats a lot of common things like Zero Aura and Terrakion. He beats them.
Ooh, nice.
All the time. I would say he beats Tentacruel if they're not running physically defensive. Again, you gotta watch out for things like the bros. But yeah, I just like his place there better, especially if you want to run like a gadget one. But you could run an offensive one, which is actually I'm going to talk about with my set.
Yeah, speaking of what we would run, I was just about to ask you what if you could pick one set to run. Obviously, for the point of this episode here, for this little recording, we're just doing one set each. So if you could only have one set for Gliscor, what would it be?
So if I could have one set for Gliscor, I would actually be running an offensive set, but I would still be abusing Toxic Orb. I got Toxic Orb with Poison Heal.
Nice.
And then we got an SD set. Classic SD and knockoff. He got that with Level Up last gen, so I'm hoping he retains that. Then we got
fingers
Earthquake.
Crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Then we got Earthquake and Roost. Roost is one that I'm kind of like, I don't know if he's going to get that back, But
and that's actually a big it's actually a big detriment for the defensive sets if he doesn't.
It is. Yeah, it is. Like there'll be almost no reason to run a defensive set unless he retains knockoff. At the same time, it's like not being you get the Toxic Orb, so like there's there could be a niche for that, but man, that would really hurt him to not get Roost for the defensive sets.
Yep. I agree.
And then I would just run Jolly. He's got a nice 95 base speed tier. And with
really fast.
An acceptable 95 attack, but after an SD, that's pretty good. And then Earthquake is a really good stab move. Ground is always a really good stab to have.
Pretty much always.
Yep. So that's what I would run for him.
I like it. I like it a lot. How much healing do you get from that Toxic Orb Poison Heal? Because currently in 8th gen, there's no pokes with the Poison Heal ability in the game.
1/8.
So for new people, 1/8.
Yeah.
So basically, instead of taking the tick damage from being poisoned or toxic, you're instead healing from it. So it's insane. Like Brandon said, if you wall up with this guy, it's hard to break him down because you can't toxic stall him.
Yeah, if he keeps Roost, You get the 1/8 from Poison Hail
Yep.
plus the Roost. It's like he's getting over half his health back whenever he uses Roost in front of you. So
Every turn.
Be really impressive.
And you're dropping the flying type depending on the matchup. He's got a really high speed.
Yeah.
You're dropping that flying type, so you're also dropping for that turn the ×4 weakness to ice.
Yep. And I do think like a max speed and a max physical defense is like still viable if you're going to run a defensive set.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
So, what if you could have a wish and get a new move for him in Gen 8, what would it be?
This one was pretty easy for me. If he doesn't get Roost, I think getting dual wing beat would really make him a really solid offensive option with Swords Dance max speed. So then you'd have knockoff Earthquake and dual wing beat instead. So I do think he's going to keep dual wing beat. I think he's going to keep Roost. I think he's going to keep knockoff.
Knockoff, yep. Because that's a level up.
I think he'll lose
in
Roost.
Gen 7.
I think he'll lose Defog.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of pokes have through the transfer up.
And I think, call me crazy, I think he's going to keep Toxic because of his Poison Heal ability. I feel like a Pokemon with Poison Heal should be able to deal out poison, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm leaning with that. That's
worst case scenario. You could just put Fling on him.
Yeah, that's true.
We've seen that before too.
Yeah. So yeah, man.
Dual Wing Beat. Yeah, that sounds strong, especially in a Dynamax format. Being able to have Stab Quake and Stab Airstream.
Yeah, he'd be
it's
really
pretty good.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man.
I like it, man. No, I like it a lot.
Bouncing it back to you. Who do you want?
Alrighty. Ooh, this one is very, very close second to Infernape. If there's one poke in the world besides Infernape that I need, it's Meganium.
I need it.
For those of you who don't know, obviously I am Grass Leader, Justin, so I almost always start with the Grass type. Gen 1 and Gen 4 are the only games I didn't. Yep. And those scenarios I started... those scenarios I started Fire, but every other generation I'm the Grass starter. Yep. Charizard and Infernape are the only exceptions.
Yep. Good exceptions.
Yep. So for anybody that might be either new or even if you're, an experienced trainer or master and you're saying Meganium, Pokemon sucks, but I'm here to tell you you're wrong. You're flat out wrong.
I think you're wrong.
Meganium is one of the tankiest starter Pokemon in existence.
Yep.
She's one of the best.
And when I say you're wrong, I don't mean you, Justin. I mean you, the viewer. You're wrong.
The viewer. If you don't rate Meganium now obviously I'm talking mainly for singles. I've never used her in VGC, so I can't say.
We're mostly talking singles here.
Yep.
I would say.
For a single Smogon format, if you are not on the Meganium hype train, you should.
Yeah. Especially for low tiers.
Yeah, it's a giant grass dinosaur with 100 base defense and 100 base spec D and a very respectable 80 base HP.
Sign me up.
No secondary typing. It's not part ground like Torterra. It's not. We just don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, not part poison.
Not part poison, not part ground, not part anything else. It's just pure grass, which is actually an insanely good defensive typing. Mm-hmm. For anybody that saw my Hula guide a couple of weeks ago, very similar stats and very similar,
bulk.
Very similar bulk, and like I have the same feeling going in here with Meganium.
Yeah,
there's a lot of utility with these pokes.
Yep. So what tier, if you had to pick one, would you think she would land in?
Unfortunately, I'd probably put her in PU because most people don't rate her that well. Historically speaking, she's always been pretty low tier on the Smogon singles ladder.
Yeah.
But it works for me because then it just means I can use her in more tiers.
Yep, that's what I was doing with Scrafty all gen. Like whenever Scrafty falls to like PU, I'm like, okay. Especially early game
you did this
Gen
to
8.
Yourself.
Yeah, like early Gen 8, I was just like, well, I was bringing Scrafty to OU. Like when the game first came out, I was bringing Scrafty to like UU and OU because you're sitting in like NU.
Yeah, same thing with Ludicolo.
Yeah, same thing.
He absolutely is viable in higher tiers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you had to pick a set, what moveset would you run in PU?
I'm going to run my tried and true, the classic set that I've always run, which is the Super Tank. I'm personally a big fan of a physically defensive Meganium, especially defensive can work too to eat up flamethrowers and ice beams. Obviously, that's what he's weak to. But I'm going physically defensive because I'm going to be switching in on earthquakes.
Yep.
I used to run on my old Gen 6 and Gen 7 PU team, or ZU back then, for Gen 7. McCargo was a really good defensive slot.
Yep.
With Yawn and everything, so be able to take up earthquakes for literal days with a physically defensive Meganium was really nice to be able to switch into that. And I had a couple of special walls on that team, so this just really worked for a physically defensive. And out of all of the Meganiums I've used, physically defensive has always been the one that's worked out the best for me personally.
Yeah.
So I've got max HP, max defense, calm nature, with the remaining 4 put into special attack just to have a little boost. And then I'm running Giga Drain, Leech Seed, Aromatherapy, and Toxic. Really good tanky utility wall. Toxic stall people down. Leech Seed stall people down. Giga Drain and Leech Seed's good recovery. Aromatherapy is great for the team.
Super annoying. I fought this many times back and forth in 5th gen. Super annoying.
and he basically... you can take off Aromatherapy for Protect depending on what your team needs.
Yeah.
And then that makes it even more annoying. You could also put on Synthesis. That's a great move that I've used before.
Yep.
Giga Drain is obviously there so we don't get taunt bait.
Yep.
We have a little bit of damage we can do, especially now with things like Gastrodon and which I think he might be either P or NU at the moment. But again, depending on what tier you're playing in, there's things like Gastrodon, there's things which is all over in whatever tier he plays, or VGC. The nickname is coming to my mind, but Opar. What is Opar's real name?
Quagsire.
Quagsire. There we go.
Yeah, our buddy's Quagsire is named Opar, and like we just like traditionally call him that.
Yeah, Quagsire is really strong right now. So Meganium, obviously, being able to smash him with a Giga Drain is going to do really well. So it's just a good stab.
Gastrodon is in NU, buddy.
NU? Okay. Yep. Yeah, so again, depending on what tier, I'm perfectly comfortable, even though I'm calling it to be PU, I would be perfectly comfortable bringing it in NU, or even RU, or even UU, depending on the team setup. He's just super bulky.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the PU tier right now, and there's a lot of really, there's good physical, you could probably take on, this is obviously probably the best against physical attackers, like you were talking, but you could run a special, but as far as physical, you can 1v1 Absol, you can 1v1
easily
Druddigon, Gigalith, you could probably one-on-one Guzzlord, probably Hitmon, Hitmontop, you could one-on-one Regirock, easy, Sandaconda, you can one-on-one him. Maybe not Scyther, but yeah, I'm seeing things here.
Scyther's a problem.
Yeah, Scyther's a problem. A really big problem. But so what move would you like to see Meganium get?
Oh, I'm gonna break the game with this one. I want this boy to get Strength Sap.
Oh God.
It's the lowest hanging fruit. I'm the grass trainer, so if I gotta pick one, I'm picking the most broken grass move in existence, and that's Strength Sap.
I've never called for a move.
Could you imagine?
I've never called for a move to get nerfed, but Strength Sap needs to be nerfed, dude. Doesn't it?
It needs to. The healing needs to get nerfed.
You shouldn't be able to Strength Sap. Insane. You should not be able to Strength Sap a substitute. You should not be able to Strength Sap grass types. Let's just start with that, and then we can address the healing later. Because
and then you address the healing.
Dude, you get 2/3 of a heal off of an Alakazam, dude.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't matter how weak their offensive power is. If you're in the yellow and you Strength Sap,
green.
Basically,
it doesn't matter.
You're full HP every time.
Yeah.
Essentially, you're full HP every single time, regardless of who you're clicking. It doesn't matter what their stats are, because that's just the base healing of the move on the first click. Yep. The first time you click it on an opponent.
Yep. All right, you want me to drop one?
Yeah, I would love to. If we're want to go into your, this would be your second pick.
Yep. So my second pick is a really fun pick. I'm a psychic guy. I got Delphox. I got Delphox.
Oh,
I want to see Delphox back in the game.
Me
Yeah.
too. She's cool.
I like Delphox. I really like Psychic type Pokemon, and this is a Pokemon I picked in 6th gen for my starter.
Oh yeah.
Part of the reason I want to use Delphox is because I feel like I underused it in 6th gen. Like, you know what I mean? It felt like something that wasn't good, and I just was, I just kind of like passed it over. Like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares? You know what I mean?
Didn't give it its true time to shine.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me to want to use it again because it's a psychic type, and I feel like I need to give it the time of day.
Well, and it's just so cool that it has little Harry Potter wand.
Yeah. So a lot of
it's just such a cool aesthetic.
It's aesthetically pleasing, and it's a psychic.
It is. It is. Oh, see, look at that right there, Alakazam mug. Look at that, Sceptile Alakazam. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Stay hydrated. So, you mentioned that Delphox wasn't that great in 6th gen, which I agree.
Yeah.
I don't remember what tier she was in 6th or 7th because, again, I kind of looked over it quite a bit too. So if she were to come in right now, she's the only addition into 8th gen as it stands. What tier do you think she would drop on the Smogon ladders?
Originally I thought PU, but I actually think that there's a place for Delphox in NU.
NU, all right.
Yeah, and I'll kind of go over that like really quick. In NU, the fire and psychic coverage is actually pretty good. Like, it hits Beware, Bronzong, Celebi, Caparaja, Decidueye, Delmise, Dragalge, that's a big one, Escavalier.
Escavalier, yep.
Yep. What else do we got? There's more. Mienshao, that's a big one.
Mienshao's a big one. Is Heracross still in here, or did he go up to RU now?
He's not here. I think he's in RU. That boy's a little too strong.
Or maybe BO.
Salazzle.
Yep.
Vileplume.
But again, you dual stab. Both of your stabs take care of Heracross in that hypothetical example.
Yep.
So,
as far as the set goes, that I would run for NU.
And both for Vileplume also, now that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt again, but it just popped in my head like, oh yeah, you could take care of Vileplume regardless.
It's actually a solid dual stab.
Yeah, I like it.
So as far as the set goes that I would run,
yes, sir.
All right, we're gonna have a little bit of fun with this one. I would run.
Ooh, got
run
some
Magician.
tricks for us?
Yeah. Okay. So we're running Magician instead of Blaze, which is something that nobody does.
What does Magician do for people who might not know? Because this is, to my knowledge, she's the only poke in the game that gets it.
There's a couple more. I don't remember which one.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Magician is really fun because if you are not holding an item and you attack an opponent, you will steal their item. So the set that I'm running here is.
Do you have to make contact, or is it just the set?
No, I think it's just any move. But I do have a contact move on here, just to cover. So I'm running no item with Magician, and I'm running Flame Charge. That's your contact move to steal the item and to get a speed boost, and that lets you run Modest Nature. She's got 114 special attack, which isn't bad.
No, that's legit.
So then you round it off with Psychic and Fire Blast, the dual stab, and then the last slot is really hard because it gets Shockwave, which is super. Like, if you put an electric move on this Pokemon, the coverage just goes through the roof. The problem is Shockwave's only 60 base power, so it's like, if you want this to be your late game sweeper, totally doable, but you have to weaken those bulky water types. But I have Grass Knot on there for now because it immediately hits Gastrodon.
So
Go ahead.
I do want to put a point on something just real quick. Yeah. You mentioned the 114 special attack.
Yeah.
For people to give a reference into something that's 8th gen, Charizard is 109 special attack.
Yes. Yep.
So just to give a reference for people, Charizard is insanely powerful, especially right now in VGC in the sun.
Yep.
Solar power obviously helps, but just to give people a little frame of reference, this Delphox is technically stronger and faster, 104 base speed over base 100 than Charizard. So just
excellent
in
point.
case you're questioning Brandon's choice here for power level, it's actually really, really strong.
Yep. So that's why we're going to run Modest, because of the Flame Charge. And then you round it off. She also gets Dazzling Gleam and, Dazzling Gleam was the other one. Grass Knot, Shockwave, or Dazzling Gleam. The problem is in NU, Dazzling Gleam doesn't hit that much outside of like Pangoro. That would be the biggest one that you would want to hit. But yeah. And one thing I wanted to note about this Pokemon is this could be useful in doubles because weakness policy is so popular. you could flame charge a weakness policy Pokemon. Just take it.
Steal.
You could steal the weakness policy. I don't know if it works like if I flame charge the Necrozma. I don't know if I take it before I pop it, but I could just hit it with Psychic or whatever,
just hit it with a
just
Psychic
to take
move,
it, just to neutralize that.
Yep. You could flame charge into, again, it doesn't have to be flame charge, but perfect accuracy. You could flame charge into or even Psychic into Kyogre, steal their weakness policy.
Yep. I think it could be a really fun tech.
If you are already on a Sun team and the rain is, hypothetically you leave like Torkoal or something, the rain's off, the sun is on. I know this from, playing with our Ho-Oh team, that like if Kyogre is in the sun and lower than a quarter HP, he has to go for Origin Pulse, and Origin Pulse in the sun does basically piss all damage. So it's really not that big a deal.
Yep. And
there's a lot of weakness policies in this meta.
The other huge item you could steal is an Eviolite off of Dusclops. I think that would be a totally worthwhile trade.
Yep. Even though you're not benefiting from it, the fact that he's not.
The fact that you take it off, So that's what I got. If I had to pick a move that I want this Pokemon to get, I think Scorching Sands in the Grass Knot spot would be really nice. Because a lot of fire types are getting that move now. And if he doesn't have it, it's hard to really kind of separate him from other fire types. Like, and it's nice to cover rock Pokemon. It's nice to cover, Pokemon of that nature. Things that you're...
Which Grass Knot does too, but the burn would be nice. And to be able to, in a Dynamax format, to get Quake would be kind of cool, because she's already got a pretty fat Spec D with 100. Yeah.
So, like, being able to potentially... it's the same thing with Scald. Like, sometimes you are just afraid to switch in on water types because of the burn. You could have the same thing for Delphox here, and I think that would be, like, really, really beneficial to her.
Added pressure.
Yep. So,
I agree. That'd be great. What about... I got a little honorable mention.
All right.
I would love to see her get... I would love to see her get 3 Isle of Armor tutor moves.
Okay.
Scorching Sands, I agree with you completely. Everything you said, spot on. I would also love it if she got dual stab, Burning Jealousy and Expanding Force.
Yep, Burning Jealousy.
That would make her very viable in doubles.
Yep, I think so too. I thought about talking about Expanding Force, but I wasn't sure how that worked in doubles with the Magician. Like if you hit them both, I don't know. You probably just take the item of the Pokemon across from you, but we'll see. When she gets in,
that'd be interesting. I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, that's what I got for Delphox, man. Let me bounce it to you for your last
great.
one.
I really love that set. That's kind of fun. I want to try to run that or something. You should do some Anything Goes later.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go on Smogon now, or Showdown. We're gonna have to play some 7th gen. All right, man. Your last Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. Hoenn Rep. Gotta add a Hoenn Rep into this list somewhere.
Respect.
So, I'm gonna go for my number 1 favorite psychic type of all time. I'm gonna try to pull on your heartstrings a little.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Grumpig. Now, for people out there that might be... Justin, what is up with all... You've picked now 2 Pokemon that are insanely, dumpster tier historically. What are you talking about? I'm here to tell you, you're wrong again.
I'm kind of laughing because I've lost to I lost to these Pokemon so many times. These Pokemon you're talking about, you call them dumpster tier, and it's man, they're
so good.
I've been rolled by all 3 of these Pokemon that he brought up today.
Yep. Grumpig is insanely powerful compared to where she has been historically in the singles tier. She's always been either PU or untiered ZU, basically since forever. And I think it's a real shame. Yeah. Do I think she's S tier OU? Absolutely not. But I think this pig has a lot to offer. Got a really good stat line, really good special defense, actually. Decent speed, decent special attack, and pretty fat HP. The same HP, actually, as Meganium. Yeah. So base 80 is kind of where we start to get okay, this HP is really worth starting to get into. And obviously on Showdown, that's when you'll see the bar will turn green, and obviously
green is good.
Green is good. Solid indicator.
Yep.
I just love this pig. I love the fact that it just bounces around on his little spring tail.
Yeah.
I love ever since 3rd gen, which is obviously the game that I started. For anybody that knows me, that's my home.
Dude, Spoink?
The first time
the
first time I saw Spoink.
Adorable.
He's so cute.
Adorable.
He's adorable. Yep. Absolutely.
So what tier do you think that Grumpig would land in?
Well, I'm going to put her where she's always been. I'm predicting that she's going to be either ZU untiered or PU, but honestly, I'm going to put her in ZU untiered because, unfortunately, I think the global populace just overlooks her, which is fine because then we can use her in other metas.
That's more piggy action for us.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
So give us the set, man.
Well, I was kind of torn because, like I said, she's got so much utility. She can dual screen. She can trick room.
Yep.
But I'm actually going to go for a special wall parafusion set. So for people that don't know, that's a combination of paralyze and confusion, which is something like 76 or whatever. It's crazy odd % chance of the Pokemon not doing anything that turn, because then they're either going to hit themselves or be paralyzed that turn.
But we always want free turns.
And we always want free turns. And that's going to help set up the other pokes on your team, either whether it's a free switch in or let them set up with like a Swords Dance or whatever, set up move, Dragon Dance, whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, so Thunder Wave, which has got nerfed this gen, obviously, to 90 accuracy. But then we got Confuse Ray, 100% accuracy. And then
nice.
we're running 2 offensive options here. We could do Trick Room. But again, running Trick Room while we're paralyzing something might not necessarily be to our benefit. That's not usually where I like to go with it.
No.
So I'm just going to do 2 offensive moves. This is basically the Miss Piggy set that I've run for a long time.
I have been parafused down by this Piggy before.
Yep, absolutely. The one thing she's lacking right now is solid recovery.
Yeah.
But with leftovers, it's okay. The ability that she's got is Thick Fat, which reduces the damage for both fire and ice types, and she's not weak to either. So now she's neutral. So now they become absolutely resisted hits.
Yep.
50% damage to her.
So another fun fact about Grumpig with Thick Fat: if you've got a Grumpig with Thick Fat, it actually gives you the thickest, juiciest cuts of bacon.
Absolutely.
Yep. If you run the other abilities, you won't get the same kind of bacon. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want Own Tempo or Gluttony. Well, Gluttony Bacon sounds kind of...
Gluttony Bacon.
Gluttony Bacon. That's probably...
Maybe that's the thick cut.
Yeah, I'm kind of rethinking. Yeah, that might be really good. Like, yeah, that's probably like...
Gluttony's not a bad set.
That's probably like a 50 pack.
But that's more of a...
You probably get like 50 strips of bacon with a Gluttony Grumpig.
50 strips.
One thing to think of, you know what I mean? When you pick out your bacon. Anyway.
Yep. So yeah, you can either run Stab Psychic or Stab Psy Shock. You know, one hits special side, one hits with your special, but on the physical side.
Yep.
So it's just it's easy to taste there.
I like that.
And then the last one's going to be Shadow Ball.
I really like the Psy Shock plus the Shadow Ball combination. I think that's
Psy Shock,
really
Shadow
good.
Ball, Thunder Wave, Confuse Ray.
I really like that.
And then for EVs, I've got Max HP. I could have done sort of like the Blissey Chansey thing where you max the physical side and just let him run on the natural spec ball.
Yeah.
But for all intents and purposes, the team that I used to run actually had both Meganium as my physical wall, and this Grumpig was my main special wall, and I'd pair them together because Grumpig had Thick Fat, resisted ice, and resisted fire. So I would, again, if I'd have Macargo out, you know, as my lead, it would have things like Yawn and Stealth Rock. And if somebody wanted to maybe EQ pressure, switch out to Meganium.
Yep.
If somebody had Ice Beam or Flamethrower pressure on Meganium, switch out to Grumpig and take those all day long.
Yep. And really quickly,
So
I'm looking
really solid.
I'm looking through untiered, and it's like a couple things that really stand out to me is like Abomasnow. Just eating up hits from that. Aurorus. That's a really good one. Avalugg and Beartick if you want to run the physically defensive one. And there's things like Butterfree. Like if you're running especially defensive, then it's really, you could probably 1v1 Butterfree with Psyshock.
Yeah, you literally you're not worried about Butterfree as much because she could sleep powder you Other than that, if Butterfree tries to quiver dance in your face, you just click either Confuse Ray or Thunder Wave. I'd probably click Thunder Wave and roll for that 90% accuracy, because if turn 1 you quiver dance and I Thunder Wave, and if it lands, I instantly win that matchup.
Colossal is another one that I just picked up on that I think you would do really well against Jinx. You do really well against Jinx. Lapras.
Very, very well against Jinx and Lapras on the singles.
Magmortar. You would really give him a hard time. Mr. Rhyme, give him a hard time with Shadow Ball. So yeah, I actually really like this. I really like the combination of Psyshock and Shadow Ball. I think that's super good. I really like that.
Yeah, it's a good piggy.
So as far as moves that you would like to see it get, what would you like to see this piggy get in 8th gen?
My number one wish, I don't know how they would implement this. I don't know how it could be possible, but if they could find a way, I'd be very pleased. Maybe they could have it breed with Slowbro or something. I don't know. But if they gave it Slack Off.
Yes. Yeah, that would be really
That's
good.
my choice. Really reliable recovery.
Yep. Then you just pull Shadow Ball off or Psyshock and just run the same exact set. It's really impressive. I like that.
Yep. And then honorable mention, obviously, would be Expanding Force.
Yep, if you want to run offensive. It's got a base 90 special attack I'm seeing here, so like that could work.
You can run a bulky offensive support.
Yep, I like it a lot. Yeah, because it got Heal Bell in previous gens, right? Yeah.
And I don't know if it would anymore because of transfer moves. A lot of Heal Bell got cut out of 8th gen.
Yeah, we only have like a couple right now.
There's only a very few Heal Bells in Aroma. Actually, the only Heal Bell that I know of right now outside of Celebi is Miltank. Everything else is aromatherapy, to my knowledge, right now.
Does Altaria
Gen
have
8.
it?
Ooh, that might be one. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd have to double check to see if she still gets it in 8th gen, but yeah, if that might be one. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's my piggy.
Good picks, man.
So what about your last poke?
All right, my last poke. So my last poke, just like you picked a Gen 3 rep, because Justin is a big Gen 3 guy. I've been playing since the dawn of Pokemon. I would pick a Gen 1 guy.
Yep.
Arbok. I really would like to see Arbok get back in this game.
Going with Charbok. I agree. I think that'd be a great addition to lower tiers.
Yep. Most of the
good really typing, good ability, good stats.
Most of the best Gen 1 Pokemon are already in the game, but when I look at Pokemon that are not, Arbok stands out to me as like one of the best. As far as a tier, like kind of like you picked, I think it would go untiered / ZU. So unfortunately, yeah.
That doesn't mean that, and again, we've mentioned this like 3 or 4 times in this video. It's not necessarily a detriment. That just means you get more tiers to potentially use it if it's strong enough.
That's true. Like if it fits on your team, like you can make it work. Like Joey and Blunder, they do their BL Knights series. They took Slurpuff into OU and wrecked
Sceptile.
And Sceptile, and like they just did Extreme Speed Lineu. You know what I mean? Like things that you.
That was cool. That was really
just because the Pokemon,
cool.
just because the Pokemon is not high tier, doesn't mean it's bad. So, as far as the set goes,
it's just relative usage. And if it's not the popular thing, maybe people aren't onto it, and that's what this video's for. You should get on this train.
Yeah. So the set. So
what set would you run if you had the King Cobra himself?
I would be running Black Sludge, obviously, with the ability Intimidate. And I would make this a max...
Intimidate, that's a good one.
I'd make this a max Special Ball because in the untiered, there's usually a lot of special attacking Psychic-type Pokemon. So you don't really want to be just, like, taking those for no reason. Moves, I would run Coil, Gunk Shot, Earthquake, and Dragon Tail. Dragon Tail would be nice to, if you get in, just click Dragon Tail on the Switch and phase out their counter, and then you probably get a free Coil out of that. So that's the reason for Dragon Tail. Gunk Shot, increased accuracy from Coil, that's really nice. And then Earthquake is just a really good all-around move all the time. It gets Sucker Punch too.
Absolutely.
So,
no, I really, really love this set. Like, if I was to make an Arbok right now, that would be the set that I would run. As soon as I pulled this up and I saw it, I was like, oh, you're speaking my love language, man. You got that Dragon Tail Coil.
And I did put the extra 4 in speed because 80 is a really common speed tier. Like, if we look back, Like looking at this Grumpig
Very.
set, if you look at this Grumpig set, I go before that Grumpig set, you know, and I just smack it. Meganium, I go before this particular Meganium set, and I hit it with Gunk Shot. So it's a really common speed tier. That's why I put the extra 4 there. Yeah, that's what I would run.
I like it.
Snake.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I really like the fact that he's pure poison.
Yes.
And he has Intimidate.
Yeah.
Pure poison with Intimidate. In lower tiers, because there are a lot of good fairies. Even if you bring him up to like PU, I know you're calling for a ZU, which I would tend to agree somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But even in PU or potentially RU, there are a lot of grass types, a fair few decent fairy types that could really be scared off by this.
Yep, I think Sylveon is like PU or NU right now, and hitting that
very
Pokemon,
impressive.
Yep, and it's a lot of like bulky. So, yeah, that's what I would run.
I love it. I'm all for it. So what? If you got your wish now, this is the fun part. What move would you give him if in Gen 8?
If I could rub the lamp and have Landorus come and give me any sort of move, I want Spirit Break on this Pokemon. I think Fairy would be like because he's a snake, right? You know, snakes, they wrap you and they break your spirit and they just like take out your will to fight. You know what I mean? That's how snakes win fights. So I thought Spirit Break made a lot of sense. It's a nice physical fairy move, gets complemented by Coil, and it lowers special attack every time it hits. So that also benefits your special side.
Great.
Intimidate plus Spirit Break plus specially defensive plus Coil. Like, you're turning into like a defensive monster here, I'd say.
A really good tank. And little side note, for people who are maybe wondering why we were talking about Psyshock over Psychic on Grumpig, this is exactly why.
Exactly, yep.
Because if you ran Psychic, this snake would, even though he's poison and it's stab and it's super, he's going to wall you all day. But with Psyshock, you could actually break through him pretty effectively. Yep. Before he gets Coil set up.
Yep. So that's it. Those are my Pokemon.
I love it. I'm really happy. Yeah, this is a really good idea. This is a really fun episode to do.
Yeah. So
now I'm kind of hoping we get these pokes back, man.
I know.
We get DLC number 3.
Yeah, kind of just like maybe want them even more. So, but anyway,
Armor Isle, Crown Tundra. What's the next one? Gun.
Yeah, we need gun.
Bow.
Lance.
There you go. Give us a new DLC and give me my monkeys.
Yeah, we need some monkeys. So yeah, that's it. That's the whole vid.
I love it.
Yeah. So
for anybody watching, what's your number 1, 2, 3 favorite pokes that are not in Gen 8 right now that you'd love to see come back? Maybe it's a staple that you used to use, like most of these that we're talking about today are pokes that we used to run a lot of. We do have a couple here like the Delphox and such that didn't maybe get as much playtime in their debut, but most of these sets are tried and true tested over years and years of us battling, and they're kind of staples to our usual deck of cards that we don't have right now.
Yep.
So what would you guys like to see? Leave it down in the comments or hit us up on Facebook, the PKMN Masterclass Facebook page.
Yep, we will link that page for you guys.
Yeah, and make sure you guys give a thumbs up on this video. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to stay up to date on all the Pokemon Masterclass news. Make sure you hit that little bell so that way all the notifications pop up for you and you don't miss out on any of our content.
Yep, that stuff really does help, guys, especially giving us a thumbs up. That tells YouTube that you're enjoying our content and that you think other people want to see it. It only takes a second to do. It really does help more than you guys think. So subbing,
absolutely,
hitting the thumbs up, that really means a lot to us.
Yep. And we do read all of our comments, and we love to give feedback. If somebody wants to see a certain poke mentioned or a certain set or a certain tier or a battle, definitely hit us up, and we'll definitely put it on the list of content to come out in the next couple of weeks.
Yep. Get on our Facebook, guys. We got a giveaway coming up soon.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, guys. Class is dismissed.
See you later.